Cash versus gold? The ultimate answer. Now, I'm often told what a horrible investment gold is. And in today's video, I'm going to point out a very interesting scenario where you can see historically what happens with gold. Now, I hope you do watch it to the end because I've got a lot of interesting information that I think will really help you. Well, enjoy. Now, I don't think we're taught about precious metals enough, and that's not really okay. But I must say that I do know some people who buy gold, and they usually are somebody looking for a safe investment that will protect their wealth. And in my opinion, that's a smart move. But again, I don't know everything. But as I was thinking about this, I thought to myself, what if I buried in my backyard $100,000 in cash? Today, in crispy 2022 $100 bills. I wondered if I came back 50 years later, what would that $100,000 in cash be worth? If you're a gold investor, you know the answer, because the US dollar loses 2 to 3% each year in value. And that's a big loss. And that's because, the government, they don't want you to hold money. They want you to spend it. So it's designed to lose value if you just hold it. And they want you to spend it because, after all, spending it is what drives the economy. Okay, all right, well, let me go back to the thought I was having. What if I buried $100,000 in gold instead of burying $100,000 in cash? How much would I have in 50 years or so? Would the gold lose value like the US dollar? Well, that's what this video is all about. So if you ever wondered if gold was a good investment, now I have some solid proof. Or do I? Let's find out. Well, first I do want to say thank you for joining me here at Cash and Coins, and I do hope you're doing well. Now, obviously, I can't go into the future to see what happens. So I thought to myself, what would be a great point in time to go back to? And I do remember 1976 because it was the bicentennial of the United States. So for this experiment, I picked 1976. I looked at the price of a house in 1976 and the price of gold in 1976, and this is what I found. Now, the median price for a family home in 1976 was $44,200. Not bad. And you could buy a really nice home with $44,000 in 1976. Remember, the value of the dollar was a lot more back then. But what if you wanted to buy gold instead? So let's look at the price of gold. And here you see it's $116 per troy ounce on October 1st, 1976. How many ounces of gold would I need to buy a $144,000 house? And here's the answer. As we know, gold is in October of 1976 at $116 per troy ounce. So I would need 381 ounces of gold because that will equal $44,196. Just about $44,200. With that said, I know that I could bury my newly purchased 381 ounces of gold and just let it sit there for years. Now, by the way, I have to mention this. President Ford legalized ownership of gold in December of 1974. So that's also why I chose 1976. Because before that, it was kind of illegal to own too much gold when they confiscated it and all of that. So now let's go to the future. And it's 2022, 46 years later. And I go to my backyard and I dig up the treasure chest full of 381 ounces of Krugerrands. As you know, Krugerrands was the first worldwide bullion coin. So I do say they are a must-have for stackers and collectors. So here I am in my backyard, let's say it's 2 a.m., it's raining, you want to make it look dramatic. And I'm filling up my wheelbarrow with 1 ounce Krugerrands with 381 ounces. Now, I have all this gold and I decide I want to buy a home. I look up the cash price today in the US, and the median price in 2022 is $348,079. Boy, times have changed from those values back in 1976, where our house was just 44,000 US dollars. If you wanted to buy a nice house, you definitely would not be able to buy that house if you would have buried the $44,000 in your backyard back in 1976 instead of gold. But luckily, let's say you didn't bury $44,000 in cash. Instead, you buried $44,000 in gold. And now let's see what that $44,000 in gold, which is 381 ounces of gold to be exact. Let's see what those 381 ounces would be worth today in cash in 2022. Well, the price of 1 ounce of gold today on December 1st at the making of this video is $1,800 per troy ounce. So let's do the math. We have 381 ounces of gold, and we know we can sell it at $1,800, and that's spot. And that equals to $685,800. And that's if you sold it at spot. But as you know, you can get much more for a 1976 Krugerrand coin in BU condition. As you know, gold does not tarnish or tone. Look at King Tut's golden mask. Everyone knows that. It's thousands of years old, and it looks brand new. Okay, back to the subject. So if you would have buried that gold, you could buy 2 houses, not just one. 2 houses with all of that buried gold. Now, what I'm saying, well, bottom line, if you bought 381 troy ounces of gold in 1976 for $44,200, today you could buy just about 2 houses for those 381 troy ounces of gold. And that's a $348,000 house, or 2 of them. So with that said, if anyone ever asks you what is better, cash or gold, well, I think you know the answer. Now, I really enjoyed making this video, and I hope you did too. And if you did, please hit the like button. Hope you can consider subscribing to the channel. I would really appreciate that too. I do want to say thank you for watching Cash and Coins, and as I always say, I'll see you on the next video.